Hello, this is Michael Fox with Mike's News Hangouts. We're going to do something a little different today. I am going to try to teach you how to do Sudoku puzzles. Sudoku, in case you don't know, comes from Japan, or so I understand. Basically, and there are books that explain how the little tiles work. There's no addition involved with it. All you're going to do really is each line, each column, and each little 9 squares and within the bigger squares all have to contain the numbers 1 through 9. So 1 through 9 here, 1 through 9 here, and 1 through 9 here. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go through these first few puzzles very slowly, very deliberately, explaining all my moves, and then we're going to do a series of videos where I'm not going to explain what I'm doing, but I'm going to just move as fast as I can through the puzzles, and that's for later. Right now we are working on an easy selection here. Easy meaning it shouldn't take us long to do it, but we're still going to move very deliberately, very slowly. I know there's going to be some people who are going to be yelling at the video saying, "Oh, you missed this, oh, you missed that." Don't worry about that. The way I do the puzzles is perhaps a little different from some, I don't know, but never really compared notes with anyone. So, but I start with the number 1, go to number 2, 3, etc. I like to do things like that logically. So we'll see how well that works out for you. Some people are going to do it in a haphazard way that would, you see something, you put the number in for it, etc., etc. And I may do that from time to time as well. But we're going to stick to the 1 through 9, and then start over with 1. The way I do things here, you notice right here we have a 1, right here we have a 1. This means the next one will be in this column here, because it can't be in either one of these because they already have a 1. Now we don't know what's going to go there yet because there's no corresponding one in the rows here. But notice there's a 1 here and a 1 here and a 1 there. That means that all those columns are already filled. And the same goes with this column right here. So with this one here, this is the 1, this is the 1. What I like to do is just cover the 1 with a pen, my pencil. This is actually a pen. Sometimes I will use pens, sometimes I will use erasable ink. Erasable ink, if you use it too much, can really blotch up the page. But so we know that the 1 here and the 1 here, so the one that's missing with this particular 9 number square is not in either one of these rows, so it has to be right here. Now, sorry if I'm not explaining that very clearly. Let me slow it down just a little bit further. There needs to be a 1 in this column. In this column here. We know there's a 1 in this 9 squared segment. It's a 1 in this 9 square segment. So in this third 9 square segment there is no 1, and the only place it can be is right here. So we start with a 1 there. And I like to do things, square by square. So these is there a 1 in this square? Yeah, don't worry about it. Is there 1 in this square? Yeah, don't worry about it. There's not a 1 in this one, so we know that the 1 here covers up that spot. The other one here covers up that spot. There's a 1 on here. So if we know it can't be there, we know it can't be there, we know it can't be there, there's only 1 spot left for it to be in. So we know the 1's going to be there. And basically we repeat the process for all these squares. Is there 1 in this square? No. We know that there's can't be in that row, can't be in that row, can't be in that row because there's a 1 there, can't be in this row because there's a 1 there. So it can't be in any of these, but it can be in this one here. And I'm getting out of focus. So much for the camera here. Okay. So let's do this again here. Alright. So, one, try not to cover up too much of the puzzle here. One can't be along this column. One can't be along this column. Can't be along this column. Can't be along this column. So, all of the columns and rows are taken except for this spot right here. So we know the one's going to be there. And now if we look at the puzzle, we see all the 9 number squares, these squares here, all 9 of them have 1s in them. So we're done with 1s in that easy puzzle. So we mark that down. So we don't have to, if we come through the puzzle again, we don't need to worry about there being any 1s. This also speeds up the process. Alright, so let's go on to 2s. There's a 2 along this column, or row rather. There's a 2 along this row. And there's no 2 in this area here, so we know that the 2 will be there. And by that token, there's a 2 along this column and a 2 along this column. So we know that there's no 2 here, but we know it will be here or there. But we're not ready for that yet. So, all right, and we can go. Camera's kind of hanging precariously here. Zoom out just a tad here so we can bring up and move the camera up a little bit. Sorry about this, doing this on the fly. It's the first time I've tried this. Alright, so now we can actually hold up the puzzle here and be a little bit better for it here. Okay, so there's no 2 here, but we don't know exactly where it will be because it can't be there. It can't be there because those are already filled. We know it has to be one of these 2, but this one here, this 2 here, doesn't give us a clue as to where it is. So, it's a 2 here. There's no 2 here, but again, there's no. It could be here or it could be there because again, we've covered up the 2 here. Covered up the 2 here. There's no 2s on either one of these to give us a clue here, so it could be where or could be there, but we'll come to that. This is what I call the easy method of determining where the numbers should go. There is no writing down on it. There's no messy, you're putting the numbers in there, and that, by the way, is considered the hard way as far as I'm concerned. And we'll go into that a little bit later on, but since we're on an easy puzzle, we shouldn't have to do things the hard way. Alright, so there's no 2 in this segment here, but again, we don't know exactly where it will be. It can't be in that column, but we don't know beyond that where it will be. Now, in this column, this box here, we'll call this a 9 number segment here, a box. Okay, so in this box, there is no 2. Again, we have a 2 coming down here and a 2 coming down here. So we know it's going to be one of these 2, but we don't know exactly which one yet. But we're going to leave that for later on because we don't want to get messy here. Alright, so let's start with 3s. We start with this box here. It has no 3, but we know a 3 here. So we cover up the 3 here. We know it's going to be one of these 2 boxes. If we look down, we notice there's a 3 here. So the 3 there covers that. The 3 there covers that. So there's only one spot. Let me see if I can make this a little clearer. 3 covers that. We'll use the finger there. And 3 covers that. So there really is only one spot for it left. So we'll mark the 3 down there. Alright. So this box here, there's no 3. We know it can't be the top one. We know it can't be the middle one because there's a 3 here. So it's going to be one of these 2. And again, we don't know which one because there's no 3s in either of these columns to guide us. This box already has a 3 in it. So if we cover up this row on it, and if we look down here, we see a 3 here. So we're going to go down and cover that. So again, we have these two boxes covered by the 3 here, and this 3 covering down here, so we're down to this box could only be a 3. Alright, now this box does not have a 3 in it. We know it cannot be on the top row. We know it cannot be on the bottom row. And we see a 3 down here, which covers up this one here, so the 3 will be right there. And knowing that we know this, we can go back up to this box here, because there's no 3 on this one, but we know the top and the middle row isn't going to be a 3 because 3 is already in there. And we know that this box here is covered by a 3, so this is going to be 3. Alright, so going down to this box here, there's no 3, there's a 3 here, there's a 3 here. So neither of these columns will have 3's in them, and then leaves only that spot there for being a 3. This is the whole point of this, going through the 1 through 9 and each box here, because it's the process of elimination. Where can't it be? And if we know where it can't be, then we know where it can be. We know, narrows down the places where it can be. Alright, so let's move on to 4's. We have this box has no 4 in it, but we notice there is a 4 on the top row here that covers up that, and there can only be one spot for the 4. So normally I would go a whole lot faster when I'm doing these, and I can do a puzzle like this within a couple minutes. But in this box here we have no 4, but we know that it can't be the top row because there's a 4 coming along here. We know it can't be the middle row because there's a 4 coming there. And if we look down here, there's a 4 right here, which covers up this. So the only thing that's left on this to be where 4 could be is right there. Alright, so these 3 boxes have all their 4's. And on this box there is no 4. Again, we have a 4 here that goes down. We have a 4 down here that goes that covers this box. And so we know that it's going to be one of these two that is a 4. Now we notice that there is a 4 there. There's actually a 4 there. So between these two 4's and these two 4's, we know the only spot where we can put a 4 would be right there. Alright, so now all of these boxes have 4's in them. And this box also has a 4. This box does not have a 4, but again we have a 4 covering this side. We have these two 4's coming down, and they cover up these boxes, so the only box where there could be a 4 would be there. And in this last box, we have, again, all these, a 4 can't be placed there. 4 is already on this row, so we know a 4 can't be there. We also have a 4 coming down here and a 4 coming down there. So both of those are covered up. So we know that the 4 has to be there. And we kind of repeat the process with a 5. There's already a 5 there. Now as we move on with this process, you'll notice more and more boxes being filled, and you might say, oh well, I know where the numbers are going to be, and things like that. You'll see, well we'll come to that in just a little bit, but you'll eventually see where either all the boxes in a row or all the boxes in the column or all but one are filled out. So you know with 8 of the 9 boxes filled what the last box will be. And we'll come across that in just a little bit. Alright, so there's a 5 here, there's no 5 here. Cover up that row where there's already a 5. And we cover up this column where there's already a 5. We find that there's still 2 boxes where a 5 could be. But that is actually not true. Well, actually, it is true. Okay, so again, we know 5. Let's move on to this box here where there's no 5, but we know that a 5 can't move along there. Now you'll notice the column, when we cover things up like that, there's a row there now where there can only be a 5 along that row. So we know that a 5 is going to be on this row. Now we can use that information in determining where the 5 will be in the previous box. So 5 will be along here, and 5 is already along here. So we know that, so we make that a 5. That helps to narrow down the possibilities. Alright, now we don't know where the 5 is going to be on these two boxes, so we're going to move on. There's already 5 there, already a 5 there, already a 5 here, a 5 there, but no 5 here. So we know 5 won't be along that, so those boxes are already filled, and there's already a 5 there. So but we have a 5 coming down here and a 5 coming down here, so our next 5 will be one of these two boxes, but we don't know which one yet. So if we go to this last box, we know that the bottom row has to be a 5, or can't be a 5 rather, because there's already a 5 there. So the 5 for that box will be along this row. Now we can use that information to go to the previous box, and 5 won't be there, 5 won't be there, 5 won't be here, so 5 can only be there. Alright, so 5 will be one of these guys. In this case, 5 will be one of these guys, but we don't know which ones yet, so we'll have to reduce the options on there by going on to more boxes. Now let's move on to 6. We know 6 has to be one of these three. In this first box, there is no 6 on the second box. We don't know where exactly the 6 will be in those three. We know it won't be there, but it could be one of these two. But that's part of the hard way. We'll worry about the hard way at a later point. And in later videos, I'm going to redo these, not do these puzzles, redo easy, medium, and hard puzzles in full speed and without the commentary, and you'll see how fast I can move with just determining the logic here. Alright, so in 6, we know 6 will be there, but we don't know where it will be there. In the second box, we know 6 cannot be there. We know there's a 6 down here, so 6 cannot be there, so 6 will be one of these guys. But again, we don't know which one yet. And this third box here, we know 6 will be one of these three guys, but we don't know which one yet, because there are no clues on the other boxes that tell us where it's going to be. This fourth box, there's already a 6. Fifth box, there's already a 6. So if a 6 is on this row and a 6 is on this row, on this 6 box, there's only one spot where the 6 could be, and it'll be right there. Alright. And the 7th box here, we know 6 can't be one of these guys. 6, there's a 6 here, so we won't be along there. But beyond that, we don't know exactly where the 6 will be. There's already a 6 in the 8th box. In the 9th box, there is no 6. If we take the 6 here and cover that, we know the 6 will be along here. But we don't have enough clues to say exactly where it will be, other than it will be along here. But that helps us ultimately with the 7th box. So we know the 6, for instance, will be along this bottom row, and the 6 in the previous one is along this row, so we know that the 6 in the 7th row will be one of these two boxes. But again, we don't know enough yet to tell which one it will be. But we're going to stick with the easy way for just a little bit. Alright, now we're going to move on to 7, and again, 7 will be one of these numbers. We already figured out that it can be a 6. Now, one of these three boxes could also be a 7. And you can figure out, actually, the third number that could be could be a 9. So 6, 7, or 9, but that's part of the hard way. We're not going to worry about that. Alright, so we're up to 7s here. No 7 here, but there is a 7 here. So we know that 7 is going to be one of those two. Notice that's already got a 7 on it. There is no 7 here. There is however, a 7 here, which will tell us that this last row here, it does not have a 7 in it. So 7 will be one of these guys, but again, we don't know exactly which one yet. And again, the same for this. We know that there's no 7 there, so the 7 on this box will be one of these. And of course, there's always a 7 there, already a 7 there, so we don't need to worry about that. Alright. No 7 here, but there is a 7 here, covers up that. Doesn't tell us enough, however, to determine where the 7 is until you get to this next box, and if you cover up the 7 there for this row, you'll find that the 7 will be one of these two boxes. And that helps us determine that if in the 7th box, the 7 can't be along this row because of this 7. It can't be along this row because of the 7 is there. So the 7 has to be right there. Yeah, that's all part of the logic for this puzzle. Alright, so we still don't know exactly where the 7 will be here, but we're getting closer to it. Alright, and of course there's already a 7 there. So let's move to 8s. There's already an 8 there, already an 8 there, already an 8 here. There is no 8 along here, but we know it can't be along this column rather, and we know it can't be along this column. So the 8 can only be here. Alright, and if we cover up on this row, there's no 8 on it, but we cover up here with the 8 on the bottom, and if you look up here, you'll see there's also an 8. So this one are no longer valid for the 8. So we cover the 8 there. Now, we want to the first situation where we've got 8 of the 9 numbers, and that's in this column here. And what I usually do, and I usually do it very fast in my head, it's I just count through the numbers to figure out which one is missing. So 1, 2, 3 is there, 4 is there, 5 is there, 6 is there. There's no 7, so it's going to be a 7 in this box. And it's kind of jumping ahead, but that's gives you a clue as to how to speed things up a little bit. Now we also know there's a row here that also has 8 of the 9 numbers on here, so let's count the numbers here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again that's going to be a 7. So we know that this row is complete. Now we also have a box here that now has 8 of the 9 numbers here, so again we're going to count with the numbers there, and then we have a 1. We're seeing a 2 on there, so we add 2 to that. Alright, and again we got another one here, 8 of the 9 numbers, so let's count the numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's going to be a 9. And in this box we also have 8 of 9, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be an 8. And that is the last of the ones that have 8 of 9. So we were working on 9s, I believe. Alright, so we know 9 is going to be one of theirs. And this puzzle, in this square, we have a 9 here that covers that, so 9 will be one of those guys. None of them in the other rows here. And this one's also missing a 9. We know it can't be the top row. We know it can't be that one. So 9 will be one of these two. And what that does is allows us to go back to this one here. So if 9 is going to be one of these two, we know we can cover up this one, and we can figure out that that's going to be a 9. And that also brings us to an 8 of 9 situation here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're missing a 6. And there's also another 8 of 9 situation here. 1, 2, so that's going to be a 2. And that is the last of that. Alright, so we were still working on 9s. It's very easy to get sidetracked on this, but when you're moving quickly, it all kind of adds up. So, no 9 here, but 9 can't be either one of these two, so 9 has to be there. And it's already a 9 there. Then this one, we know it can't be the top one, it can't be the middle one because of the 9 that we just added. So 9 will be one of these two. And there's no clue here as to where the 9 will go. So, we've made our first pass the easy way. So, and we still don't have all the squares filled up. So, we started another pass on the easy way. And we know that we've got all the 1s here, so we're not going to start with 1. But we will start with 2. Alright, so this box has a 2, that one's got a 2, that one's got a 2. 2, 2, 2. This one is missing a 2. It could be either this one or this one. And since there's already a 2 along that row, we know we can cover that up with 2. And this is another 8 or 9 situation, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know it's going to be a 6. And if I'm speaking a little too fast, well, just wait till you see me when I'm going at full speed. Alright, so we have another 8 or 9 situation here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be an 8. And here's another one here that we just created. 1 going to be 2. And there's another situation right here. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be a 7 there. And we're filling out most of the puzzle, most of the blocks here. We only have a handful left. So in this case, once you've got this much filled out, it's often easier and faster to just look at what you're missing from the squares, and then try to figure out logically what it could be and where it goes. So in this case, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be a 6, or it could be a 9. Now, whether it's going to be a 6 or 9 depends on what's going on below it. There's no 6 or 9 down here, so that doesn't help us. But there is a 6 here. And that means that this can't be a 6, this has to be a 9. And therefore that makes it 6. Alright, now in this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got a 6 and a 7. Got a 7 right here. So that can't be 7, so it's got to be 6, and that has to be 7. And in this situation we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's going to be 5 or 9. If we look below, there's no 5 or 9 here to help us out. And there's no 5 or 9 to help us out here. So we're going to leave that one for right now. And on this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're missing 7 and then a 9. So we got a 7 here, so that's going to be a 9. And that's going to be a 7. And let's see. The only other missing blocks here are right here. We have it's easier to do it 2 at a time, so rather than going through all 4 of them, we're going to do this from the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, missing a 5, and it's missing an 8. So this could be 5 or 8. There's an 8 down there, so that has to be 5, and therefore that is 8. And this last box, now we can go to the box rather than to the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be a 6 or it could be a 9. And we know, so there is already a 6 there, therefore that has to be a 9. That has to be a 6. And if we go back to this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what we're missing, and 9, already a 9 there. So that's going to be a 5, and that has to be a 9. And that is that. This was an easy puzzle. Later on I'll do a video where I'm going to do the one below it here very quickly. But this gives you an easy way to do these puzzles, especially the easy ones. In the next video we're going to do a medium puzzle, and that's going to be, I probably will start to demonstrate the hard way. And later on, of course, we'll do a hard video as well. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's been educational. Feel free to leave comments. Feel free to like it on my YouTube page. And, thanks for watching as always.